She had spent 27 years as a special education, I don't know why it's doing that, teacher and administrator in the Edwardsville School District. In 2016, she established the Tiger Den Coffee Shop at the Edwardsville High School, which provided vocational training for students with autism and developmental disabilities. The successful Tiger Den program and training provided led to several job placements for her students within the community, and then earned her the title of the 2019 Illinois Teacher of the Year from the Illinois State Board of Education. Upon her retirement in 2022, she partnered with Chris Ellsworth, the parent of one of her students, to establish a nonprofit organization, Redefining Independence NFP. She is here today to share information about her nonprofit and its first project, Ray's Cafe, which is supported employment setting for adults with disabilities. Thank you so much, Susan, for taking the time to speak to our club.
Thank you. Well, good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me and welcoming me today. I am so excited to be here because I'm going to be talking about something that has become a big part of my life, starting in 2016 when I was at the high school. And while he's pulling that up for me, I am going to say something about the youth exchange program, because when I was working at the high school and we had the Tiger Den running, we had an exchange student from Bulgaria who volunteered in the Tiger Den with the students that I worked with that have disabilities. And I, of course, got to know her very well. And she explained to me that in Bulgaria, the system was still basically archaic. And if a student was born with special, or a child was born with special needs, they were pretty much at home or in an institution. And she was very impressed, amazed, and energized, I think, by what she saw in the United States and in this community when she volunteered. She actually wrote an essay as part of a contest about her experience at the Tiger Den and won first place award for a very moving essay that reminds me, I need to pull that up and put that on our website, because that was a very impactful experience for her and for me as well. So again, thank you. I'm going to switch microphones. Thank you. Okay. I don't know. Okay. All right. The first slide I have is the mission statement of redefining independence. And I will start off by saying that redefining independence, we are a nonprofit. Think of redefining independence as an umbrella of support for adults with disabilities. The project I'm talking about today is our first of, I hope, many different projects that will help adults with disabilities be more involved in the community, accepted, included, and we're starting with the vocational program because that's what I know. And the Tiger Den was a very successful program, and I'll talk a little bit about that, but I'm going to focus more on where I am now. So I'll give you, oh, you don't see that, do you? Okay, so there is our mission: to provide a supportive workplace which ensures individuals of all disabilities the opportunity to work side by side within a community job setting. This inclusive employment setting will help fill gaps in adult services, which are numerous, and enrich the lives of individuals with disabilities by developing social, vocational, and educational connections to the community. That's our mission. So the vision is that these individuals will have access to meaningful employment with appropriate support. And that's key right there. I'll talk a little bit more about that. Appropriate support, a connection, again, to the community, and a sense of purpose and belonging. And I will say that when I started the Tiger Den and I had my students with autism and intellectual disabilities or physical disabilities working and being productive, I have never, I will say this, we opened in October. So I was teaching them in the classroom until October. I got them in the work setting. And I saw a marked improvement immediately because it was meaningful. It was meaningful. They were productive. They could see success in what they were doing. And I'll tell you, it was the best job I ever had until this past Tuesday when we opened Ray's Cafe. So the vision is that we continue this. Who is redefining independence? Who are we? We were established in April of 2023. Spent a lot of quality time with the IRS, who finally granted us our nonprofit designation in January of 2024. And again, Redefining Independence will provide programming and support for adults with disabilities. These are our board members. I will say that Chris Ellsworth is the daughter of the former mayor, Steve Ellsworth. I'm sure many of you know him or are familiar with his name. So Chris and I are partners. Casey Grunkemeyer is a teacher at Edwardsville High School. She has a program of students with autism. She teaches students with autism. Jenny Ellsworth, Denise Bird, Rachel Denman Aldridge, Charlotte McGinnis, Brett Tate, and Jerry Kane. And I know SJ had to leave, but Jerry Kane has been a mentor to me for many, many years, even prior to this, because he actually started out with the same vision that adults with disabilities, in his case, he worked for Challenge and he developed that beautiful transit system we have now that makes the community accessible to all who want to get out and to be involved. So he has served as an advisor, and I wanted to make sure that I recognized him. He actually did get mad at me at the very beginning when I was already looking at property and we had no money whatsoever, but he's been good to us. Okay, our initial project is Ray's Cafe. This is a picture, all the pictures that I'm going to show today. Poor Jessica, I sent her this link last night because I was putting pictures in from Tuesday, which was our opening day. So these are pictures that I plugged in. And look at that face. Look at those faces. That's Jenny Ellsworth right there. The student in the picture, I keep calling him students, he's an adult. He's 24. He's a student here at Lewis and Clark in the College for Life program. However, same as Justin Bonner, he worked for me at the Tiger Den. And if you see his smile, you can kind of understand why I love what I do. It was inspired again by the Tiger Den program at EHS, which opened in October of 2016. So our logo is up there and our motto is where everyone shines. So we have a sun and very hopeful, colorful, promising logo, and I love it. Brett Tate is our graphics person, all volunteer. We are a working board. None of us, we're all doing this because I will say something about the board. Every single person on the board either is a teacher of students with disabilities or has a family member, and I think many of you in this room have experience in that, know how important this is. So Brett Tate is related to one of our board members and has a nephew with a disability, and I've spent a lot of quality time with Brett over the last 2 months getting all this together, so I appreciate him. So Ray's Cafe, where everyone shines, is named after the late Ray Ellsworth, Steve's wife, Chris's mom. She was a strong supporter of the Tiger Den when she was alive and its mission. It provides vocational training applicable to any job. And I want to stress that because I am not of the mindset, I feel very strongly about this. Food service is not the only thing that students with disabilities or adults with disabilities should be doing unless they want to do it. It, however, does provide an opportunity for me as a supervisor to see what someone's interests are, what their skills are, and help them go in the direction that they want to go. And I'll give you an example. When I was at the Tiger Den, I had a student with autism. And if you're familiar with that disability or disorder, typically a typical characteristic is the need for structure, routine, things that stay the same, that kind of thing. And as anyone who's worked in a restaurant knows that doesn't happen in the food service setting very often. So anyway, he was working for me And I'm gonna backtrack just a bit. We started out in October 2016 with a district bank account. So all the money that we brought in went back into the district bank account. It had $14 in it that was granted to me. So that was our balance when I started in 2016. And I bought 3 Mr. Coffee pots that we frantically rotated around to try to keep up with people ordering coffee from us. We operated out of the concession stand at the high school. And then we would bake these chocolate chip cookies that, for those of you that are my age, may remember Easy Bake Ovens. We would do rounds and rounds of Easy Bake Oven cookies and sell them to people in study hall. Fast forward to when we left in COVID, we had over $20,000 in our account that was earned by the students in that program. Very sick, and I'm just saying that not because I think the money part's important, but it did allow me to help these kids get jobs out of the community at places they wanted to work at. So back to the student with autism. Working for me, I paid him after school to do things because we had money in the account. So he would do things like he would scoop our cookies. They were 2 ounces. They were supposed to use a scale. He was the only one I didn't have to remind to use a scale, and he was the only one who didn't need to use a scale because he was amazing. Every scoop he did was perfect. He liked that job. And then one day I asked him to clean out the bottles of syrup that we used in our coffee drinks and clean up the cabinet and all that. And I came in the next day and I said, "This looks amazing." I said, "I can't figure out what's different, but it looks really, really good." He said, "I took, all the lids off and I did all this." And he said, "And then I put the bottles in alphabetical order." And I thought, I should have thought of that because I was always scrambling around looking for, the caramel and behind the, whatever other flavor. He had the day before been behind the counter, and his job was to hand customer coffee cup. And we had them in stacks and baskets. And he would not hand a cup to a customer unless all the rows were exactly the same. So we would have this long line and he would be juggling these cups. So I thought, okay, I need to think about this. This is food service is not his thing. And he deserved to have a job that he loves. So he ended up, I talked the media secretary at the high school to take him on. And he started at the Edwardsville High School Library, and she was very nervous about it. Had not worked with an individual with autism before. I said, I would always go with them the first few days, get them settled and kind of make things comfortable for them. The last day of school, she texted me on the way and she said, "What kind of cupcake do you think he wants?" She gave him this huge cupcake from the cup and cried on the last day. She loved working with him. He ended up at Heartland Library Systems over the summer. And then he was at the Edwardsville Public Library up until the point of COVID, which destroyed so many things, as we all know, unfortunately. But anyway, the point is we all deserve to have the job. We spend a lot of time at work. We should love what we do. We do a better job when we love what we do. And I would tell my kids that I have the best job in the world. You're going to get the best job in the world. So anyway, I know I'm rambling on about the Tiger Den, but it is a backdrop for where I am today. So in addition, Ray's Cafe provides a naturally inclusive workplace. And by that, I mean, people come and order food. I found that at the Tiger Den. People that might hesitate to come up to someone on the street or in the store or whatever, if you have to go up and talk to them when you're ordering something, it's just a natural, very comfortable kind of interaction. So we're continuing that at Ray's Cafe, and it leads to a sense of community and inclusivity. On Tuesday, just 2 days ago, it feels like a million years ago, Ray's Cafe opened at the Meyer Center YMCA, thanks to a generous donation of space from the YMCA. And I'm so grateful for that. I told you Jerry Kane yelled at me 3 years ago. Well, he didn't yell at me. Those of you know Jerry knows he doesn't yell, but he did say, "What are you doing? You don't have any money. You can't be looking at property." Anyway, fast forward. Elizabeth Grant actually kind of set up a meeting with Brandon Bell in the YMCA, and we talked through what we were looking for. We were looking for a home, a temporary home. I'm still looking for a permanent one, but he said, you know, our concession area at the Meyer Center is not utilized to its fullest potential. They do a great summer program where they feed, those who need it and can't afford it. But from Labor Day to Memorial Day, it's pretty empty unless in the evening or on the weekends they've escaping. How would you feel about using that space? And he said we wouldn't charge you anything. And I'm sure you all know what the answer to that was. It was hallelujah. Yes, so I'm grateful to the Y. And I'll never forget what he said in that meeting. He said, I love the idea of a nonprofit within a nonprofit. I mean, what's better than that? I mean, isn't that what you're all doing? You're all giving back, and it's important we continue that. But again, so Ray's Cafe is open at the Meyer Center, open to the public. I do direct people. They have the Y offers free coffee in the mornings. We do sell coffee. I do not sell coffee to Y members. I direct them back to the free coffee because that's a nice perk of being a Y member. But we're open Monday through Friday we're open 7 to 1. I actually go in at 6 and then we clean up from 1 to 2, but you can come in and order off the menu. I do have copies of the menu. We're still kind of scrambling for things. I don't have paper menus yet, but if you want to check out what we have, the menu is on the table there, along with, I brought treats. I brought you our energy bites. Everything is made by us from scratch, with the exception of the bread for one of our sandwiches and the tortillas. But the adults that work there and our staff, we make everything from scratch. It's really, really good. But we have energy bites for you. Take one on your way out. If you're full, you don't have to eat it now because it will be filling. It's gluten-free and very, very healthy and on their menu. Very affordable. Jessica and I were talking about, restaurants and pricing. And there was actually a post on Facebook last night and they said, I'm just kidding, but sort of. She said, but don't you mean to put a 1 in front of all your prices? Because when you look at the menu, very affordable. Enough for us to make some money because we need to. The more money we make, the more employees I can have on staff. But you'll be surprised at the prices, I think. Hope to see you there. Okay, currently, our current staff, we have 3 adult volunteers daily from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. Me, my partner Chris, and a friend of mine named Laura Quider. None of us are getting paid. Okay, so the adults do not get paid that are running this. This is all volunteer. I do have a kitchen manager job coach starting in November that work 3 hours a day at $22 per hour. We'll have an additional job coach, so we'll always have a job coach providing support for individuals who need it to be successful at work, and they'll also be paid $22 an hour. We currently have 6 adults with disabilities working 10 hours per week at $15 per hour. I do want to give credit though to Lewis and Clark. Right now, I made contact with a woman who's affiliated with the College for Life program. They have a grant and they are subsidizing those wages up through December. So it's allowing us to build up kind of our account. And but once that runs out, we pay no less than $15 an hour to adults with disabilities who work in our cafe. And we have 2 prospective employees on the docket waiting, and a volunteer staff that rotates. So you may be wondering how you can help. And of course, financially is one way. I will say at this point, and kind of my focus shifts as we move forward. I mean, we're open, we're running, things are looking good. People are coming in saying nice things about the food and the employees. And I just feel fulfilled again. It was a lot of paperwork, a lot of government stuff needs to happen. Health department's been amazing. I will give them a shout out. They've been very helpful with us, but it was so far removed from being with the individuals. And now that I'm back in the swing of it, it's great. But so our first focus was, of course, to get all that paperwork done, become a 501c3. We're there. Got the word out, had a public meeting in April. We found a great place, got our supplies. lot of great donations from local companies and corporation. Main Street has actually been very, very supportive of us, and I appreciate that. Bart Solon and the Solon Foundation donated 2 big pieces of equipment for us. The Y has also, of course, allowed us to use their oven and so on. So we've saved a lot of money just by the generosity of corporations or companies or groups in the community. So I guess the next milestone is, now I'm looking towards Memorial Day, and we're gonna be moving out. And I don't know where all our stuff is gonna go, but maybe needing a storage unit, but realistically, we're looking for our own place. I need to be able to expand. I think this is I know it's gonna be successful. And I'll do whatever I need to do, Chris will do whatever she needs to do, and everybody involved on the board is willing to make this work, and the adults that are working there with disabilities are so happy to be there. The food's good. We love talking to people. We've got all the pieces, I just don't have a place. So if you hear of a place that's affordable, let me know. My card's on your table, and you can visit us on the website. So basically, those are different areas, but our focus now is really finding a place for when we hit Memorial Day. Again, this slide I left in from another presentation. We would welcome anybody if you're interested in volunteering or becoming involved. I told you a few minutes ago that everybody on the board is either related to or has someone in their family with a disability or teaches individuals with disabilities. None of us are business people, finance people, grant writers. So if you have the need and have the desire to become involved, we would welcome all that legal advice and so on. Another way you can help, Musanda, this is not official yet, I don't think, but unofficially, on October 22nd, I got a call from Sam Smith, who is the women's head basketball coach at SIU, and she chose our organization as the charity that proceeds will go to on October 22nd at the basketball game against St. Louis University at SIU. She gave me permission and asked me to invite all of you to come out and support the women's basketball team and Redefining Independence. I will also say, for those of you that don't know Sam, I actually worked with her husband at the high school. He's a special ed teacher, but she was one of the first persons on the scene back in a few months ago when that terrible motorcycle accident on 143 where the man lost his leg. She was one of the responders, and so she is bringing him to the game. He has a prosthetic leg now, and she wanted to choose an organization that kind of aligned with the difficulties that he now faces as an individual with a physical disability. And so that's why she chose us. She didn't even know I knew her husband, so it was kind of, I don't know, I guess it was supposed to happen. So I'm very appreciative of that opportunity, and I hope to see, I know I'll see SJ there. He's a season ticket holder along with my in-laws. You can also like us on Facebook page. This is Cameron Ellsworth and Tiara Patton. 5 of the 7 employees that we have now work for me at the Tiger Den are now 24, 26, 28. And that's a picture of them on the first day. Oops, sorry. So we do have a website. It's rdi618.org. We have Facebook pages for Redefining Independence and Raise Cafe. You can message questions to those pages. You can email me. This slide I left in from my presentation in April. I feel it's a very sobering statistic on the top of the page. I got this in February of the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics website, that almost 80% of people with a disability were unemployed in 2023, and that's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. We have a workforce out there that wants to work, that needs maybe some support that we should be giving when we can. And I'm in a position to do that, so I'm hoping other businesses will follow our model and provide that opportunity for them. The quote I have on here is from a girl. I ran into her actually at Dearborg's. She's a former EHS student with a pretty significant physical disability. And she didn't know me, but I recognized her and I talked to her. And I was telling her about Ray's Cafe, and this is what she texted me the next day. And it was very impactful to me. And again, reinforced the importance of what we're doing and the need for it. So I wanted to include that. Okay, this is a picture of us opening day. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Any question?
Yes,
Is Tiger Den still rolling? Is it still rolling?
Tiger Den is still rolling. Kayla Magruder took over for me. Very important that that continue.
So did you retire?
Okay, here's,
Sort of?
yeah. That's kind of a two-part answer. I'm sorry, I'm taking up a lot of your time, but it's a little bit complicated. Okay, so we shut down COVID in March. Here I am with all these students that are used to doing, I'm sorry.
You're good.
Stand there with those. Sorry. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? So what I did was I got servesafefoodhandler.org or whatever they are. And every single one of my students earned their food handler certification through me teaching from that program. Although none of the restaurants were open, but for 3 years they could have gotten a job in a restaurant. So I did that. Anyway, I plan to come back, and when we went back, to work in that fall, and I was offered the opportunity to interview as a principal for one of the buildings in the district that had all our special needs programs. And I said no to 3 different people, and the third person told me, who I know very well, I said, I love what I do. Why would you even ask me if I want to be a principal at another building? And he said, they're shutting your program down. Because think back, remember those horrible days when no one knew what the next day, if we were even allowed to leave the house or whatever. So in fact, I told Jessica the story today. It was I didn't think I could go back to the class, to seeing them in the classroom or to be teaching in a classroom after what I did. I knew I wanted to be very closely tied with special education. So I ended up being a principal during those 2 very horrible years of trying to get back to normal. And then I retired in 2022. But even back, and Kayla had already been slated to take over for me, and I handpicked her. I mean, I had to get permission, but I knew she had the same heart for it, and she's still there. And I forget where I was going with that, but oh no, back when I was doing the Tiger Den thing, the whole time I'm thinking, like I'm looking to Memorial Day now, I was thinking, okay, these kids are going to turn 22, and then what? This is great. Up until 22, they can work here, they can make money, they can make friends, they can be productive. And then for those of you that have a child with a disability, you are thrown into a world of lot of services, none of them connected, I feel, in a very organized fashion. It's overwhelming for someone that's familiar with working in systems like that, and it's extremely impossible for any parent that doesn't have any working knowledge of how to contact agency or so on. So Chris and I became friends because her son worked for me and she volunteered in the Tiger Den. And during COVID, we got together a lot and talked, and we said, we need to do something at the adult level. So even though I hadn't planned to retire at that point, this was on the horizon for me, because the needs don't stop just because they, turn 22. They become very different. Sorry.
Well, you're good. Thank you.
It was a very long
informative.
presentation.
Thank you very much. On behalf of the Sozowski family and home nursery. I'm going to present you with the centerpiece today.
That is beautiful.
That'll look good in Ray's
You know what?
Cafe, right?
That's the colors. You did that on purpose, didn't you?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Great. If you want to draw 50-50 while the next week, we have program is Carolyn Kester, invocation is Brian Mohall. Readers are Ethan Coder and Laura Matson, and 50-50 is Mark Cowsley. So without further ado, four-way test, family rise. Of the things we think, say, and do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill of better friendships? Will be beneficial to all concerned. And the number today is 1194142. It's me. I don't draw the ticket. $7.
Yeah. Yeah, I should. I will.
Hey, I need my $7. Where's our treasure? He's not here today. I'll take this. I'll take 7 of it, yeah.